up, guys? This is my first ever movie review. So this is going to be a spoiler movie review. I'm going to talk about certain details of the movie that I personally found quite interesting. Oh, it's Tails! Holy shit! I'm a big fan of the games. I played Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I played a bit of the 3D stuff on Dreamcast, but I never really went further than that. From what I played, I think the 2D platform games were the best. I'm actually playing Sonic Mania at the moment and thoroughly enjoying it. So when I heard about the Sonic movie, well, when the first trailer came out, let's admit we were all a little bit shocked about what we saw. My heart just sank when I saw that first trailer, but after the second trailer, I was like quietly optimistic. I was like, you know, this might be a good movie. And the whole redesign they went through, so thank you to the animators for that. So, onto the movie. But first, drink break. I'm gonna discuss what I liked about the movie and what I didn't like. And believe me, there was more that I liked than I disliked. But being such a crazy Sonic fan, there were just a few things that I wanted to pick up. So, at the start of the movie, we're introduced to the Sonic world, and it's lush, it's beautiful, it's amazing. It's what you'd want to see from the video game into a movie. It translates it perfectly. So we're brought into this Sonic world, and it's completely captivating, and then it's like, yeah, we're gone from it, and we're back into the real world, and it's like, I go to the cinema to escape the real world. I don't want to be in the real world. But that was the only nitpick I had. I mean, if you think about it, the budget that you would need to keep a movie in the Sonic world for the entire movie, like the animation involved, it would be pretty big. I like Sonic, the character Sonic. I thought he was quite cool. I thought he's exactly what you'd expect from Sonic. He's not arrogant, but he's very overly confident because of his power and his ability. But he's got a very childlike attitude because he's basically playing like a teenager, I would say, maybe even younger than that. And he's got this charisma and this, yeah, just this like childlike innocence about everything's fresh. Like everything he explores is fresh. You know, he has fun with that turtle at the beginning, and he's just enjoying his life. But there's also, you know, this sad undertone that he's alone and he's depressed and he's isolated, and he just doesn't feel, he feels different, and you know, a lot of people can relate to that. You know, he just doesn't feel like he can, you know, fit in with society because of his differences. And yeah, I didn't expect that from this movie. This whole feeling of isolation, you know, he even has this bit at the beginning where he's like having a nervous breakdown talking to himself in a psychiatric room. And yeah, he's like, are you sure this is the kind of life you want to live? You know, completely isolated from everyone else? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then of course he's not fine. He has a freak out, and it turns out his freak out actually causes an energy disruption which goes across America. So it took me the second time of viewing when I suddenly realized that he doesn't unleash his power until he gets emotionally involved, like it's like some sort of emotional trauma happens. Because you see it at the beginning when he has his little breakdown, and then you see it later on when he's getting annoyed with Tom for leaving Green Hills, and then you see it later when Tom's like, he's my friend, and then he sort of sparks into life. So I thought that was quite interesting, the fact that his powers coming from his, you know, it's from his emotions almost. Yeah, so Sonic's got a bit of depth to him, and then you've obviously got Dr. Robotnik, who's a great character. I thought Jim Carrey was brilliant. He doesn't look like he does in the game, but this is a movie interpretation, and then obviously he evolves into that state later. So it really sets it up nicely for a sequel, because we see him turn into Dr. Robotnik at the end. And what I really liked about Dr. Robotnik is he's your classic villain, because he's this genius, but he has to keep reminding people that he's a genius. You know, he's got this really big ego, and he's obviously very insecure because he has to keep reminding people of his IQ to take them down a level so he's above them. So he's almost he talks about this story about the bully, but he's almost become the bully now. He's changed from being the victim to the villain now. So he's taking out all his trauma that he suffered when he was younger on other people, especially Agent Stone. And I think they've got their own little buddy movie going there as well, which is quite cool. Because it's a sort of rapport that no one else would get, but it's just their thing. I mean, he's really nasty to Agent Stone, but he doesn't really mind because he looks up to Dr. Robotnik so much, and he's just happy to be in his company, which is bizarre. But yeah, they have this interesting rapport, and I thought it was quite nice at the end because Dr. Robotnik is basically going on about machines throughout the entire film, how he prefers machines to humans. But at the end, when he's completely isolated and alone, he's created this rock that looks like Agent Stone, and he's calling him Agent Stone. It's very Wilson, like from Castaway, isn't it? So I quite like that. And I thought it was interesting because he's basically like a complete contradiction from Sonic's character. So Sonic is craving human company and human interaction, and Dr. Robotnik is completely opposite. He's had enough of human interaction, and he just wants purely robot companionship. But then it's a nice twist at the end when he's completely isolated and alone, and he's got that stone. It's obvious that I wouldn't say he regrets anything, but he misses that human interaction. He took it for granted maybe, and Sonic is completely opposite. He's like, wow, I love it. Another thing I was a little bit annoyed about was that they didn't include any of the music from the games. I mean, you've got that one scene at the end, the Green Island Zone. But other than that, they didn't really include it. I mean, how cool would it have been if you had the Robotnik's theme come on, like just when he enters. Or, when his drones come out. I mean, there's some really iconic music in the games, and I'd really like to have seen them remaster these tracks from the 16-bit versions into the whatever bit versions they do now. So that was something that I was a little bit disappointed with, because the music's okay in the film, it's good, but it's not iconic like it is in the Sonic games. So hopefully if they think about that in the sequels, they'll just include that a little bit more, like the music from the games, because when I played the games, that was probably one of my favourite things about playing it, because you just enjoy listening to the music while you play. And every character has their own theme song. I was kind of hoping when you saw the Etch and the Tribe at the beginning, you'd get that Knuckles classic tune. But yeah, that's the negativities out the way. So I watched the movie 3 times, and I realised there's a lot of stuff that you could miss the first, even couple of times of viewing. There were jokes in it. There's so many jokes in this movie, but the jokes just appeal to my humour as well. Like I think adults would find these jokes funny as well as kids. So even though the movie's centred on a kid audience, I think adults, especially adults who've played the games, can really enjoy these jokes. When he's with Tom in the bar and he's like, guac, 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 guac. I like that word, guac. And then at the end, Robotnik's like, you got any last words? And he's like, guac, I like that word. I was like, I saw that. So yeah, all the joking aside, I thought the action scenes were great. It really had me on the edge of my seat, and just all the comedy throughout. It was just a really good balance of comedy and just like endearing moments, throughout. And it's just a very entertaining story. There's a lot of people online going on about, well, he could have just got to San Francisco by himself. He didn't need, to go on a road trip or anything. But I was thinking, well, yeah, he could do that, but the whole point is he's isolated. He's been alone for a long time. He wants that human interaction, so he jumps at the chance to go on a road trip with Tom. because he hasn't had any human interaction. So he's like, woo, road trip. But he's not excited about the road trip. Because who would be excited about going on a road trip when you can speed 1,000 miles an hour? You know, it would be boring, wouldn't it? But he's happy because he's spending time with someone else. That's the whole point. So yeah, he could have gone the rings very quickly. He could have just sped around America and found San Francisco. But I think the whole point is he craved interaction with other beings, and that's what I think anyway. At the end of the day, it's a kids movie, but if you're a fan of Sonic the game, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I mean, let me know what you guys think below. If this movie satisfied you, because it certainly satisfied me. And but yeah, I feel like this was just a stepping stone now into the Sonic universe. I think they can do a lot more with it. So I hope they go a lot, be a lot braver with it, and hopefully they get a bigger budget now it's done well, so they can really explore the Sonic universe rather than staying in our mundane world, which unfortunately it is, compared to Sonic. When Tails came on at the end of the film, I was like, holy shit! And people below were going, oh, it's Tails! It was literally like the second coming of Jesus. Jesus had just appeared on the screen. Everyone was like, oh! It's great because Tails is such an iconic character in Sonic's universe. And he's really there's so many, I can remember fights in the Sonic 3 game when Tails literally has to lift Sonic up. And the only way to beat Robotnik is with Tails, because he's holding him up so they can fly together, because Robotnik's destroyed the ground. So hopefully there's a similar sort of moment in the sequel where Tails is literally his be-all and end-all. He can only get the job done with Tails. And yeah, I really just hope they capture some of the storyline from the games, because much of these video game adaptations, they'll take some part of the game, but they won't really explore that further. They'll just do something completely original, like the Resident Evil movie. They kind of took a premise from the game, but then just completely changed it and did their own thing. So I'm hoping they do something with the games where they literally, like Robotnik building his army of robots, with all the animals inside. I hope you see some of that, and then building the Death Egg, and then Sonic and Knuckles and Tails have to stop him from taking the Chaos Emeralds. And then you've got Knuckles' character arc where he's bad at the beginning, he's tricked by Robotnik, and then he turns good at the end. I mean, that's something they could easily incorporate in the sequel. You could start off against Sonic and then suddenly realise Robotnik's mad, bad shit crazy, and then, yeah, join his side. But yeah, the acting and everything was good in the movie. There was never a moment I was bored or anything. It was just like, I just thought it was a good movie. Like, I was expecting it would be, in terms of video game movie adaptations, it would be alright, but I actually generally think it's the best video game adaptation that's been made. So my final rating, I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10 because it's a kids movie. But I greatly enjoyed it, and if I wasn't a Sonic fan, I still think I would enjoy it, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't see it if I wasn't a Sonic fan, to be honest, but the fact I'm a Sonic fan, I really enjoyed it. The reason I'm not giving it an 8 is because I want to see more of the Sonic world, and I think we're going to get that in the next one, but I've got no qualms with the acting, the story, or anything in the first one. I think it was a nice, safe plot that they had to go with, to just test the waters of what people wanted, and now they've seen it's got such a good reaction. I hope they'll be a bit braver and just really dive more into that world. So yeah, this movie really brought out my inner child. It came back to the surface. Very, very pleased with the movie, and I'm looking forward to the sequels. And I hope you guys enjoyed my first ever movie review. I'll be doing more. I'll mostly do on movies that I'm quite passionate about. I think, as you can tell, I'm quite passionate about Sonic. So yeah. If you guys don't know, I actually make movies, so if you like video game movies, I've made a Left 4 Dead movie. I just saw that they hadn't made a proper film of Left 4 Dead, so I thought I'd do one. and it's doing alright. It's got a few views, so if you guys like Left 4 Dead or video game movies in general, please check out some of my work. And I'll see you guys in my next review. Thanks.